I'm lining this guy up in the center where I want the depression to be, and get the depression started. This has quite a bit of crown. The 5052 hardens up fairly quickly, so you can definitely feel that it's shrinking down because it's getting stiffer and stiffer the more you work on it. Alright. Here's our initial depression, and what we want to do is we want to take this and kind of plan to shrink it out into a larger flat that would be big enough to cut out an opening for a headlight. So we're going to switch back to the flattening side. There's two different shrink rates on each of these dollies. There's a larger shrink rate for faster moving of the material, and also for chasing a shrink, or running a shrink down a panel. The other side has a smaller radius on the inside, and it gives you a slower shrink and makes it a little more even when you're planishing it out. Brings it back up to flat. So we'll start with that side to and I know this isn't going to show very well because my hand's kind of in the way. Go ahead and set it on the bag and see if that clarifies it a little for you. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit faster than that. Now you can see that there's a ridge that's raised, essentially, because we've taken a depression down. This kind of acts like a tuck, where it's reinforcing the metal. So as we hammer it down, it's crushing back in radially, and you can see the shrink marks around that edge as you work around it. And I'll do a more in-depth explanation of that a little later on in another video. Okay, once I get it about where I want it, then I flip the dolly back over and start playing and shrinking this down. It's a much lighter blood. Always keep checking where you're hitting so that you make sure that you're aligned. Switch back to doing this by hand so I can get a little bit better feel of it. This panel's really light as it's bouncing all over the place, so I'm going to switch over to the post to make it a little quicker. Now this one doesn't have the smaller shrink rate on it, so I'm actually going to switch to a flat here. Bring that center up a little quicker. Really tight crown like this, sometimes it's a pretty tight panel and you gotta start getting close, kind of go in circles around it so that you're not hitting exactly in the same spot each time. Bring the edge around back into a flat plane. Switch to a smaller face if you want to touch up specific areas. Alright, so there we have a pretty, well, you can see this, but shrunk down, flattened crown. Okay. So, little headlight opening. You can take it back down in and do more of a recess if you wanted that curve. You can actually stretch down into it and get this thing to kind of reverse and flatten out. The next thing we want to do is I'm going to run kind of a detail along the side here, and this is that traveling shrink. And what it'll let you do is it'll let you take crown out, but it'll also let you define a feature. So if you want to put a body line or something in, it'll let you do that by hand without having to